family, teachers, and this school have taught you and expand on it. Let nothing get in your way. If something does, let yourself deal, take a moment, then pick yourself up and keep going. Go your own path and try not to compare it to anyone else's. Have fun, be brave, ride the downs, and climb the ups. Now, if you remember, earlier in this speech, I mentioned how hard it may be to remember high school in the years to come. If you remember any of these days, try to throw graduation in there. Try to throw in the hopefully entertaining, beautiful, young, talented actress lady from, and tall, that was supposed to say tall, I just threw in talented, so that's very good of myself. Lady from TV who spoke at your graduation, or at least this one statement, motto, and mindset I've now modified to pertain to you. It is not if you will achieve, it is when you will and how you will achieve it. This is the thing I would like to pass on to you today. Figure out the answers to when and how by living your life to your best ability. Doing this will make it possible to have a version of the life you want. Remember, you are a WCHS grad, and even if you have doubts, you are prepared. Go make the when soon by figuring out how and show this world what you've got. This is your moment. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome and congratulate my fellow alumni, the Winston Churchill graduating class of 2015. Thank you.
I'm not as tall, unfortunately. Thank you again, Ms. Coleman, for those words. You're looking very young today. Yeah. So. All right. Okay, sorry. According to Merriam-Webster, appreciation is defined as sensitive awareness, deserved recognition. A week ago, Mr. Taylor cleverly put that this graduation ceremony is not really about us students, but it's actually about everyone else. And so before our class president comes up to the podium, we just like to make sure we recognize some really important people who have coached, supported, and guided us during the last 4 years. Thank you to the eyes and ears of our school, Dr. Benz, Mr. Taylor, administration. Thank you to Superintendent Bowers, the PTSA, today represented by President Robin Solomon, and the Board of Education, represented today by Dr. Judith Daka. Thank you to our infamous cheerleader, Miss Kristen Nixon. Thank you, of course, to our Churchill faculty, our sensitive and wise teachers, our observant security guards who are still going around this building as we speak, the diligent men in blue who kept our classrooms clean, and last but not least, thank you so much to all of you, our families, our doting parents, our cheeky siblings. Thank you for all that you have done and all that you will continue to do. And now it is my great pleasure to welcome your beautiful class president, Miss Hannah Yen, to bid us a fond farewell. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hello, class of 2015. I am honored with the opportunity to speak before you all today as we are gathered together one last time before we embark on our journeys as high school graduates. But before I begin, I want you to look amongst yourselves, around you at this family of peers, and reflect on the last 4 years that are now behind us. And then, I want you to give yourselves a round of applause because class of 2015, we made it. I wanted to start at the beginning. Rewind back 1,366 days, back to the first day of freshman year. We must have felt as we do now, perhaps a little less relieved, but just as excited and nervous for what is to come. But truth be told, I don't remember much of freshman year, or even the months that followed. In fact, what is most memorable of high school isn't a memory at all, but a feeling. One I know I am not alone in feeling, and that is one of pride. I am proud to be a member of the graduating class of 2015, and not just because as class president, I'm supposed to say that, but because everyone who has ever met us knows what a bright, brilliant, and talented group of students we are. We truly are the best class that has ever walked through the halls of Winston Churchill High School. And I know what you're thinking. She said this before, along with every other speaker honored with speaking before her graduating class. But I don't say this without proof. I mean, look at Kayla Liu. Kayla started rock climbing at the age of 8, and since then has placed second at Worlds, first in the Pan American Games, and for the last 8 years has represented the United States as part of the U.S. team. And Kevin Wang. Not only is Kevin the 5th best chess player under 18 in all of the United States, he is also a prize-winning powerlifter, which makes him the epitome of brain and brawn. And for those of you who do not know Marissa Liu, this girl is spunky with a talent in art that can only be matched by her modesty. She has had her work commissioned for children's books, is working on her own comic book, has placed first in more art competitions than I can count, and has done it all in style. Yash Nigam developed a nonprofit e-learning system, Volunteer Tutor, which allows students to tutor peers using an interactive interface of digital whiteboards and webcams. It is his innovative idea that is transforming the way students learn even now in and amongst our classrooms. Katie Gouch, in addition to having been a Red Cross volunteer for the last 4 years, donates her time playing and teaching piano to wounded warriors and their families at Walter Reed. And if that wasn't enough, not only has she completed research on phantom limb pain to better help veterans who have suffered as a consequence of their limb amputation, she has also been a part of a study of the first prosthetic to have 13 degrees of freedom. It is students like Katie, Kevin, Marissa, Yash, and Kayla whose sheer passion, dedication, and talent for what they do never cease to amaze me. But the list goes on. My point is, there is something spectacular about each and every student graduating here today. And when we walk out those doors at the end of this ceremony and continue off to our homes for the next 4 years, we don't get to leave that behind, nor would we want to. No matter where life takes us, no matter how far we travel, we will always have this family of peers behind us. We will always be a part of the graduating class of 2015, and that is a statement I make with continued pride. And I wish I could say we did it all by ourselves. We made it all here alone, but we did not. We owe a debt of gratitude to those who have shaped us into the young men and women we are today. Thank you to parents and mentors for showering us with love and opportunity, for being the role models that you are, for showing us what is right and wrong, and then teaching us what it means to do right and wrong. Thank you to the teachers who've shown us by example what it means to be educators, for not only teaching us what to learn, but how to learn. Thank you to Dr. Benz and Mr. Taylor for watching us grow, cheering us on from the sidelines, attending event after event, and supporting us along this journey. You both dedicate not only your time, but also your hearts to each and every student, and for this we are grateful. To this wonderful woman sitting next to me, Ms. Nixon, words cannot begin to describe how thankful we are for everything you've done for us every day for the last 4 years. Your dedication, selflessness, and humor have made you more than our teacher, more than our SGA sponsor, but also our friend. You're the teacher who cares. Even when you're knee-deep in stress, you still put others before yourself. You still wear a smile on your face. You are the most important member of this class, and we will not soon forget all that you've done for us. Lastly, I'd like to take this moment to thank my peers. It is those of you sitting here today, graduating here today, that we are all lucky to have grown with, to call our friends, to have contracted senioritis with and helped spread it with, to have shared the good times and the bad. We have gone through a lot together. We've had our fair share of struggles, and I could not have asked for a better class to have shared them with. So thank you. Before I finish, there's one thing that I want to leave you with, and that is a hope. I hope that we will never find ourselves. I hope we will never come to know who we are or who we are capable of becoming. Because I want for us to never stop exploring, to never stop taking risks. If I've learned anything in high school, it is you fail only once you stop trying. So please, continue as you have so we can look back 10 years from now and say with continued pride, we are the graduating class of 2015. Thank you. And now, please enjoy this orchestral selection conducted by Mr. Christopher Sands.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon again, invited guests. What a pleasure it is to welcome you to this graduation ceremony for the 454 members of the Winston Churchill class of 2015. The names of these exceptional students are listed in your programs, and designated symbols beside their names recognize their individual achievements and memberships. Our senior class officers and executive board members are seated on stage. Please stand so that we can recognize the leadership you have provided your classmates. Thank you very much. Our choral and instrumental students have traditionally added to the enjoyment of this most awesome occasion. Thank you, students, Mr. Albright and Mr. Sands. Once again, yes. I now want to thank the Churchill ambassadors. I appreciate the welcome that you have extended to each of our guests this afternoon. The firm foundation and proud legacy of Winston Churchill High School has been built stronger by these young men and women. Churchill teachers, sponsors, and coaches, my heartfelt appreciation to you for your daily, rigorous instruction, guidance, and hard work which have brought our seniors to this finest moment in their young lives. To our parents and families, thank you for being so consistent in your partnership to nurture and support each graduate to attain success. My boundless gratitude goes to Mrs. Robin Solomon, our PTSA president, and her tireless executive board for their constant help to advance our networking, to heighten awareness of our school community needs, and to cement a stronger partnership for our work together. In good times, from organizing our state blue ribbon pizza party to baking thousands of dog bone cookies to commemorate the installation of our bulldog sculpture, to the sad times we've shared, Mrs. Solomon, you have been here for all of us. Thank you. Steve and Robin Solomon's son, Kyle, graduates today. Spanning, go Kyle. Spanning 14 years, Kyle is the last of 4 children to graduate. I didn't say the best, the last. Sorry, Kyle. I'll pay later, I know. Our dignitaries, first of all, I'm sorry, it is with greatest joy that I welcome home our own Miss Kellen Coleman, Churchill class of 2002, very young, and today's graduation speaker. Thank you, Kellen. It's wonderful to have you home. Our dignitaries seated on stage have provided us with resources, with direction and attention, which resulted in pathways to our students' achievement. Dr. Daka, Mr. Bowers, excuse me, Dr. Monk, thank you so much. We're also privileged to have on stage our Churchill Cluster principals who represent their school's teaching force pre-K through the senior year. You were the pioneers who set the stage for success. Thank you. Dr. Beth Brown, Beverly Farms Elementary School, Mrs. Donna Michaela, Potomac Elementary, Mrs. Jerry Oglesby, Bells Mill Elementary. That's okay. Mrs. Linda Goldberg, Potomac Elementary, who will retire after 13 years at the school. Thank you. Mr. Carl Beckel, who's presently at Seven Locks Elementary, who was recently appointed principal at Clarksburg Elementary. Thank you. Dr. Paulette Smith, Kevin John Middle School, and Dr. Youngmi Kim, Hoover. Another round of applause. My seniors join me in sharing deep gratitude for the commitment of Mr. John Taylor, their administrative sponsor, and Ms. Kristen Nixon, their faculty sponsor. Mr. Taylor has been selected for promotion to become a principal intern at Neilsville Middle School next year. Congratulations, Mr. Taylor. And Miss Nixon will become a summer bride and thankfully remain on our Churchill staff. Miss Nixon will return. Thank you. My highest praise is extended to our staff. I expect that Churchill teachers will plan and deliver excellent instruction each and every day. Rigorous instruction and engaged students become motivated risk takers in a challenging setting. Our consistent top rankings in the county, in the state, and in the nation result from hardworking students and a very stable, collaborative staff who plan for the achievement of each student, so please join me in giving them a round of applause. Amongst all of our joyful times, there comes a bittersweet time when our students graduate and staff members complete their Churchill journeys. This year, 8 of our valued staff members will go on to retirement. Mrs. Emily Goldberg, English resource teacher, leaves after 15 years at Churchill, 30 years in Montgomery County. Mrs. Barbara Levitt, English teacher, 9 years at Churchill. Mrs. Linda Smith, English teacher, 25 years at Churchill and 38 years in Montgomery County. Now, let me just do a little addendum here. All the English teachers are not leaving. So let the undergraduates know they do have to take English to graduate, and we have very competent teachers left to do that. Thank you. Mrs. Joni Zuckerman, social studies teacher, 12 years at Churchill. 12 years at Churchill and 28 in Montgomery County. Mrs. Denise Fabrizio, who got all those transcripts out to those colleges for you, is our registrar. She's been at Churchill for 9 years. Mrs. Lois Cohen, who is a math teacher, has been at Churchill for 10 years, and I will say this is a second career because she came from south of us in Fairfax after retirement, so she has given many years to not only Montgomery County, but also to Fairfax. Mrs. Gail Stellero is a school psychologist who has had 22 years of service with Montgomery County Schools. And Mrs. Maria Alfaro, our wonderful, always smiling, always very, very positive night building service employee, is leaving Montgomery County after 15 years. So, these exemplary professionals have given 151 years of their lives to the young people of Montgomery County. Thank you so much. In an age when many new teachers leave the profession within their first years of teaching, we are fortunate to have enjoyed the longevity of our retirees. Again, thank you all for your life's work. Now let's celebrate further, because 3 Churchill staff members are also proud parents of a class of 2015 graduate. First, Mrs. Olaya, who is a special ed teacher. Her son is going to graduate today, Adeola. Excuse me if I mispronounced that. Mrs. Kathleen Linton, who works in our main office, her daughter, Kinsey, is graduating. Our prom queen, Mr. Wes Russ, science teacher's son Eric, graduates today. So congratulations, parents. Members of the class of 2015, let me talk with you this one last time. You've almost completed your Churchill experience, and you're ready to move on to the next stage of your life. Your days here have not always been easy. You faced the death of a classmate during May of your sophomore year. You honored Evan, and you remained close to his family. You grieved, you were strong, and you moved forward purposefully. What happens to one of us happens to each of us. Please join me in a silent remembrance to Evan Rosenstock. You are leaders. We began our Sources of Strength program to increase awareness of suicide and depression. The SOS program will continue with my constant focus and that of our staff and students. Prevention is our only hope. Several years ago, I met with our literary magazine staff members and with Mrs. Smith and Miss Nixon, their sponsors. I was fortunate to meet a young, budding poet, Lauren Bontempo, who then was a freshman. I read one of Lauren's poems entitled Memories. It touched a special place in my heart. Lauren's brother, Brian, was a member of the class of 2012. Lauren gave me permission to read her poem. I would be honored again to read her poem, Memories, and this time to dedicate it to each member of your class, the class of 2015, and especially to Evan Rosenstock. Memories. People come and go, and ropes can fray. Roses will wilter, but memories shall stay. Remember the years, because time flies by, like a raindrop down a window or a bird in the sky. Keep traveling down that road, and you'll be on the right track. For if those people truly love you, they will always come back. Constrict the tears, don't say goodbye. Flesh may falter, but memories never die. Life is unexpected, but all you can do is know that we will always be with you wherever life wants you to go. Thank you, Lauren. I always include a Winston Churchill quote in my speech. Here's another little aside. A little bird told me that at the Wooten graduation, a speaker quoted Winston Churchill. It did not go over well. Great friendly competition, right? Okay, so here's the true Winston Churchill fan club. Churchill said, "I have no fear of the future. Let us go forward into its mysteries. Let us tear aside the veils which hide it from our eyes, and let us move forward with confidence and courage. Members of the class of 2015, your possibilities are infinite. I believe in your strengths, your intelligence, your courage, and your will to prevail. I believe in the future because each of you will shape it. Thank you for everything you've done for Churchill, and again, like Kellen, please come home often to see us. In 13 years, we want an incredible alumni standing right here giving wonderful words of advice to those younger people in the community. All right, now, here are the words for which you've worked so hard. On behalf of the faculty and staff of Winston Churchill High School, I recommend members of the class of 2015 as qualified candidates to receive the State of Maryland Diploma or Certificate of Attendance. And at this time, it's my extreme pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Judith Docker, a member of the Montgomery County Board of Education.
I really want to thank Dr. Benz for all the things that she has done for this school over the years and for her leadership. And I also just want to say that we are very proud of the schools in Montgomery County. This is the best time of the year for the Board of Education because we get to see parents who are pretty happy and students who have accomplished quite a bit. And we did hear from your president some of the accomplishments of a few of you. We know that many more of you have stories that we would love to hear. I also, you've already heard about your elementary principals and middle school principals, and we thank them so much for their service and for bringing you this far, and for the staff here at Churchill that have been with you every day for 40 years, well, maybe not in the summer, but who have been with you and concerned about you and bringing you forward. We know that you've had rigorous instruction and the highest academic standards here, and we are very proud of that, and that there is a partnership with the family and the community in this school. You have many signature programs, which we think are terrific, and you are creative.